right, hello and welcome back. We are 5 of 6 chief delegates here for meeting number 12. We're waiting on Randall to see if he can make it. Not sure where he's at currently. While we're waiting, we've been having a little enlightening banter about various topics. Aaron was just telling us about herding cats, and then we started getting into what does IBC really mean, I think was Chris's question. And that's a great question because I think we all wonder that to ourselves every night before we go to bed, right? What the hell is IBC really? Inter-blockchain communication, that is. So
I can't sleep, Aaron.
I do. You
I
need
can't
a bedtime
sleep either.
story.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not the kind that just puts you to sleep, but
right.
Yeah.
No, and in the context we were talking, we were mentioning Eden on other EOS-IO blockchains. And then I brought up maybe that IBC could really help elevate the Eden of Edens on different blockchains sort of thing. But basically the easiest way that I interpret IBC is that you could perform an action on one blockchain and it will have an impact on another blockchain. That could mean that you are, maybe locking a token on one chain in exchange for something on another chain, or with smart contracts, it's really anything. It could be that, you have some sort of other chain that's, maybe you have an EOS-IO blockchain that doesn't even have tokens. But you still have the concept of network resources like RAM and CPU and net, and they're not abstracted or given to you as a user in that way, but you still need like permission to use this new chain, or permission to use resources. So an example of IBC that I would love to see is like I could lock my tokens on one blockchain and it would give me resources on another blockchain. Like you can do that on EOS, or you used to be able to do that on EOS. You can still do it on Telos. You can still do it on Wax. We just call it staking. You're locking your tokens in exchange for system resources. But imagine you could lock EOS for resources on a brand new blockchain that was application specific. Like if I were the one developing Voice, the original Voice, where it was its own private blockchain and it was all about writing content and upvoting and interacting on the social level. Sure, put it off on the other blockchain. You can have all the content there and do everything there, but maybe you have to stake EOS on the EOS blockchain to activate your resources on that content chain. Like that, sure, the application itself doesn't live on EOS, but it adds value to EOS because to use it, you're still participating in that chain. And you can do that between two existing chains. Like there's ways to add value from EOS to like Telos, or from Wax to Ultra, or whoever adopts these standards that allows you to go to do one thing on some chain and have it impact something else on another chain. It also kind of lets you feel like you're moving tokens between chains. Like that's another really simple example.
Lets you feel like you're moving tokens.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
little sleight of hand there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's arguably at a technical level, you're not like taking one token and then jogging it over and like jumping over a river to this other economy. But
right.
Yeah, it's like
an equivalent is created.
Yeah. It's like I don't know, the whole transporter theory, like the Star Trek and nerds debate and stuff. It's like, okay, if you're transporting someone, are you destroying one copy of you and creating another copy? Like that's kind of what token transfers between blockchains would look like. You're kind of destroying something to create it somewhere else. Is it the same token? Well, that's up to you to decide.
I never realized this connection. And who was it? I think it was Lars that just told me about this, the ship of Theseus paradox, where a ship is slowly replaced plank by plank over a course of time until the point where it's a completely, all new material comprising what is effectively the same ship. Is it the same ship?
Yeah.
Is the paradox. And then I can't remember who it was added the twist, like if you take all the planks from that first ship while you're replacing them one at a time, and you build another second ship from the original planks, now you have two ships, which is the original, which is the real ship,
Yeah.
just to like muddy the waters a little bit more on this.
Aaron, how complex would that implementation be that you described with the staking?
I have no idea. For the past, since I started like 4 years ago, I've been in the client area of EOS.io. So this exceeds my knowledge. I mean, I've listened to conversations about it. And that's why I kind of understand it, but this is not something I could do, and I don't know how hard it is, and I don't know what it'll take. That's sadly just not my wheelhouse.
Yeah, there was a grant on Pomelo from John Boyd and others that would he was essentially offering a bounty for an IBC solution. So yeah.
And just Randall, we're live. Or not live, but we're recording, and you're here now. So we just jumped right into random talk about fascinating topics, and Aaron was telling us about IBC.
Good time killer.
It's important though. Like IBC is one of those really like that. It would be so important for all of EOS.io chains if we could talk and take advantage of what each chain has that the other doesn't. So it's cool.
Yeah. Not live, just recorded. Do not fear. So maybe we should jump into a few announcements. Chris, congratulations. Or wait, you're over here.
Thank you.
On my screen.
Yeah, so I get to adding a little bit of time to the Telos blockchain, making it to their Telos Foundation. So it's pretty exciting. It's kind of neat to get. It's another, like it's the year of the DAO, the year of governance. This is a neat. I'm going to try to dedicate a lot of time towards this year, I think. And so how I was elected in Telos was stake weight voting, very just like how EOS block producers are selected. And it worked. Like the Telos has this app called Decide Voter, which you log in with Anchor and you connect your account real easy. Like I didn't have to watch a YouTube video, and it just flip, pick the election and then pick the people and sign it and and it was done. So I think there's a lot of room still to visualize the votes and how they were collecting. There's still UI work that can be done, or UX, I guess. But yeah, so that was cool. It's neat to, like in Eden, we're doing a totally different way of selecting leaders. So now it's like a complete, is there one better than the other? Can there be overlap? So I think it's a neat kind of thing. And then Telos, the foundation, so there's 9 people now on this foundation board. And prior, there was really only 3 active participants. So really hard to get things done. And they don't really have a holistic set of bylaws, for example. And so it's interesting that, hey, neither do we. So I'm going to try to see what do these bylaws kind of write them, and how many, do they overlap? Do our bylaws for Eden, are they going to be really quite different than a traditional board's bylaws? Some will, but I wonder how many will be, how much we can overlap. So I might put some time on that and just see I don't know what you guys think. If you want to still, I know we're not really going down the bylaw route as Eden members for Eden, but I still think maybe there's value in at least brainstorming putting something down on paper that might be useful to other Edens. Yeah, thanks. That's my recent news. Pretty excited.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Randall.
No, I was just saying congrats to Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think looking at multiple EOS.io chains is really important. just for anyone who's starting to get involved, because there's so much shared everything that's going on, and you can really learn a lot by looking at the different chains. We've always, as Greymass, have always tried to be multi-chain across the board. We started with EOS voter, but that was because no other chains existed. And then as soon as, you know, the other chains started launching and following the same code base, we were like, oh, we need to, here comes Anchor. We need to rebrand this to support everyone. And same with all of the tools that we've been doing. And it's, you really learn a lot from seeing multiple, like EOS is an experiment, crypto is an experiment, but if you can see the siblings of the experiment and how they're growing up too, it gives you a really unique perspective that adds a lot of value.
Yeah, I remember in the early days when EOS first launched, at least I was excited about the possibility of a multi-chain. Like many, we didn't really have the term sister chains at the time, but and you know, there was still like this kind of holdout sort of contingent of people who are like, you know, only one chain, there must only be one. And a lot of us were like, no, like let's experiment, let's have multiple chains with different projects. And it took a while to get moving. And I know I was always hoping that they would form into some sort of like Voltron like, you know, character that could just come together and have the power of the entire group. And we've been kind of like slowly, you know, fumbling towards that, I think, for 4 years now. So it's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
I think it's a token price thing. When I think about the reason why these chains don't work together yet is because they're trying to eat each other's dog, or I don't know, like they're trying to, it's like we're competing over the same pie, we feel like. And it's like, we need to somehow find a way to economically tie the chains so everyone benefits. If Telos, the price of Telos going up helped EOS and EOS holders and the price of their token go up, that's like, right? Like just think of the mental shift that I think a lot of these siloed tribal views of crypto have. Like, let's find a way to tie them. I don't know how. I don't know the answer to this. That's part of why I'm asking, like, is there a way to do like this indexing token or something where there's mutual benefit? I don't know, but that's how we break that down. And the Voltron, exactly. It's a great analogy because then
if anyone remembers that, Jesse or
Definitely.
Yeah. When Aaron said siblings, it kind of reminded me of something that I think about a lot, which is we have sister chains or siblings in the EOSIO space. And I don't do a ton of research outside of EOSIO. I do kind of follow Ethereum a little bit in Bitcoin, but I've always wondered like what other crypto communities have like multiple copies of the code base like we do. And I assume there's not many, and it gives me confidence in EOSIO and EOS just because we have a nice big family.
There are others.
Like what?
There are chains that have really embraced it. I'm probably going to get the names mixed up, but I'm pretty sure Cosmos is kind of designed with this in mind.
Yeah.
I just saw a blog post actually where they were talking about, I think they called it interchain accounts. So you can have an account on one chain that works on all chains, even though they're separate blockchains, which I thought just was an amazing idea. You know, imagine.
That's what FIO is trying to do, right?
What was that?
That's what FIO is trying to do.
Kind of. FIO is more like a contact system. You can have one account and then you can like reference all of your other accounts inside of it. So you could, you know, if you had your FIO account, you can be like, this is my EOS account, and this is my Wax account, and they're all technically different accounts. With this inner chain account system I'm talking about, it is, you literally have one account that works across all of them. So really cool. It's a native feature of that, of the ecosystem of blockchains. And there are other chains that have embraced this as well. I'm trying to remember which, I'm gonna have to look it up, but I know Engine, which is a gaming company that I've known for a really long time, because when I was in the gaming industry, they launched a token that's focused on NFTs, and they just won an auction to become the next chain in another family of blockchains. I don't think it was Cosmos, and I don't remember what it was. Parachain. They call them parachains. Polkadot. That's Polkadot.
That's Polkadot.
Yeah. So Polkadot is another family of blockchains where they have these auctions that go on over a set period of time, and people bid to become the next parachain. And then those who win those auctions get to launch their own chain and be a part of this family of blockchains. Another really interesting approach to
It's a
how to
permission
potentially do that.
approach.
Yes. I don't know enough about that aspect of it.
Yeah, Cosmos, I think it's like Tendermint, but then I don't understand the relationship, but Terra Luna also uses Tendermint. So it's the same consensus mechanism that Cosmos and Luna are using, I think. That's my understanding. Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I would think IBC across EOS.io should at least be easy. If it were possible, certainly that should be the one that's really easy to do.
Yeah.
Like, your anchor works so great. Like the keys are across chains practically, like they can be. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
This is maybe a question. I don't know if you can answer this or not, Aaron, but like, given that, all right, my question itself might be ignorant, but I'm gonna take a shot at it.
Do it.
Given that the code base for the various EOS.io sister chains has been tweaked to some degree in each instance, from Wax to Telos to EOS and so forth, does that provide or create obstacles to IBC, or is there like enough of does there just need to be like a framework for IBC and then a lot of other stuff can be different, if that makes sense?
I think so. And the chains that have diverged from what vanilla EOS.io, they may have to make additional changes to accommodate for it. But I don't think it would be impossible. I think for the most part, all these chains are at their core running similar types of contracts. Like a really simple contract, I don't have a good example, but those contracts should be able to be deployed on any EOS.io iteration, regardless of how the individual chain modified itself. So, and that's whether or not you can deploy contracts. Like on FIO, you can't actually deploy contracts. So you need the BPs in FIO to deploy any additional contracts because they're the only ones that are allowed to deploy contracts. So if it somehow was a contract, it would need BP buy-in to be able to run on that blockchain. If IBC was more of a feature built into the software, maybe not so much, but it would also have to be run by the block producers to make sure that they could participate in this greater ecosystem. Yeah, I don't know what the best course forward would be, but I know it should be possible. And I see these other ecosystems doing it and I'm jealous. It's just the other day that I saw those inner blockchain accounts and I was like, I want that. Like, how great would it be if in Anchor you could just set up an account one time and then you could go use any EOS.io blockchain with zero friction and not have to create an account for each one. So
I instantly wondered if that would create weird security vulnerabilities. Like it's kind of nice in some ways to have separate. I mean, it's from a usability standpoint, it's terrible. But from a security standpoint, it's like, oh, if my Wax gets hacked, like my EOS is still safe and so forth. But
it would be. And it's because your wallet or whatever application you're using houses those keys and they're never exposed. So yeah, if one network for whatever reason got hacked and token balances got moved without you signing, they didn't actually compromise you, they compromised the network, and that specific network could be, you could lose value on a specific network, I guess. But overall, you should still be safe. Well,
Safe as
Besides
safe.
losing tokens,
Safe as it ever gets on
Yeah.
blockchain. So you guys want to do updates?
Sure.
I don't know does
Yeah,
anyone
sure.
have to dip out of here sooner than later today?
No.
And one other quick order of business, John, is 2100 okay? Or did we just like, I feel like the time gremlins kind of got us again, but maybe not. Because I looked back through the calendar and I thought it was 2100 the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, I might have got confused because we had, was it the Eden weekly, meetups, like the open mic, and then
Oh yeah.
that went wrong because the daylight savings, and so yeah, no, I think I got the confused. Either time works for me. I'm awake by then, so yeah, whatever.
All right, well, everyone should have a calendar in their, like invite for the next 13 weeks. That should take us all the way through April 7th, I believe. So well, maybe we'll never have to think about this again now. That's my hope. We just know it's on our calendar.
Also, just before we start, Chris mentioned before the idea of how to sort of tie communities together and sort of create incentives for them to work together rather than it's make it so competitive that one wins and the others lose, sort of thing. Eden 2.0 will have a few cool things there to tackle that. So stay tuned for the white paper.
I'm so tuned, I can't get any more tuned. I'd be like, just become one with the singularity if I.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think out of any group of people, us 6 people are probably the most anxious for what comes of that, because it's
yeah,
because it's impacting what we're planning.
Yeah, let's get back to that after so individual updates, because we could go on about that for a while. I'll just pick people if that's okay. Jesse.
Yeah, so we've had quite a busy week. We launched our 2.0, and we have found some new challenges, good challenges. Basically, before it was, here's some tokens, guys, and do what you can do with those tokens, basically, and give us a report at the end of the month. Whereas now it's, okay, here's some tokens, but you need to value each work item that you do. So you have to put a value on each work item. And we don't have enough tokens to pay, like, for all the stuff we want to do. So the princess, so each hive gets tokens, and each princess bee needs to figure out, basically, okay, do we do less things and pay people more market rate, or do we do more things and pay people below market rate? That's kind of like the tough kind of decisions that our princess bees are going through right now. But I do like the direction, because at the end of each period, each month, we're going to get a list of every single work item that was done and the bounty that was paid. So we're going to be able to track what we're paying, and we're going to do relative values in dollars, so we can kind of see what these marketing services are worth relative to our budget. So that's been very interesting. We launched on the 1st of January, which was New Year's Day weekend. So we're a little slow getting to it, and so we got 9 active hives now, and they're working through it. So that's been very interesting. And also we recorded 3 Meet the Hives this week, Vietnamese, Korean, and French. And the Vietnamese and Korean were launched or published. The French will be published tonight. Check us out on our YouTube channel, EOSBs. Very interesting conversations, getting to know these different language cultures, and just get to know the leaders of our language hives and just our language communities on EOS. So it's just been a really good opportunity just to kind of see the personalities of everyone. And also we recorded 3 Meet the Hives this week, Vietnamese, Korean, and French. And the Vietnamese and Korean were launched or published. The French will be published tonight. Check us out on our YouTube channel, EOSBs. Very interesting conversations, getting to know these different language cultures, and just get to know the leaders of our language hives and just our language communities on EOS. So it's just been a really good opportunity just to kind of see the personalities of everyone. And yeah, so we're chugging along, doing the FUD stuff and all that good stuff.
Just have a question. Like, my question is, how are the hives marketing to the non-EOS token holder? Like, how are they marketing to the communities that they're in to help bring them onto EOS? That's something that I've been thinking about normally.
Yeah, and I think about that a lot too. I just got to think my connection's unstable, so let me know if I'm breaking up. Those type of things require a larger budget. So that's through digital advertising or business development through influencers. Those, in my mind, are the two main paths to get people outside of the EOS community back in. Of course, you can do like translating the beginner's guide, for example, and just sending the links out one at a time. That's obviously not the most efficient, but it's free. I mean, it's just labor. And so we also have a global hive, which I run. And one of the bounties is one of the main things I want the hives to do, the princess bees to do, and they'll earn a bounty for it, is to get prices. Go talk to influencers. You don't need to book the influencer. I just want you to get a quote from these influencers. How much is it to retweet? How much is it to get an interview? That type of stuff. So we're going to get the prices, and then we can go to the EOS community and the ENF and say, look, here's what we need to pay these mid-level influencers. So I wrote about it on the white paper. The ENF are going to be going after these high-level influencers. The bees, we want to go in the range between 10,000 and 100,000 followers, these mid-level influencers. We want to get 100, 1,000 mid-level influencers to promote EOS.
So, I mean, I'm just thinking, but is there a system where these hives or the people in the hives, they can just set a goal of, let's say, I'm going to bring 5 or 10 people onto EOS by just telling them how good EOS is. And these are the things that make EOS better as a blockchain and how it can change, let's say, society and our day-to-day activity over time, right? And try to onboard people, then maybe we try to incentivize them by bringing those people. Because I think that's, if I have a business, right, and I pay for a marketer, that's what I'm looking for. Like, how are you going to get me customers, right?
You mean like a friend, like someone's friend, you bring them in?
Yeah, you just start talking to people, just bringing 1 or 2 people, your closest friends. And those people, once they come on board and they see that, okay, the first blockchain that has a way that you can create value within the society, you can be part of Eden, have a voice. More importantly, if you need, let's say, support, you can have a user support. And there is funds out there to be given to people who have talents, right? By doing that, the influencers themselves, they will come, because over time they have to talk about something, right? So it's like a chicken and egg problem, but I feel like the minute when you start addressing the projects that we have and what makes EOS so beautiful, eventually the people who wanted to get paid to talk about EOS, they will actually pay us to talk about EOS, right? The dynamic will change. So it keeps ringing in my head that we have to have a system where we are educating the guys, those people who are going out there to talk to others about EOS, that don't just create an article. And you are creating an article because you love to create an article, and then we are paying for it because you create a beautiful article. Try to create something that brings someone on board. Right?
No, so I like the idea, Randall, for sure. My only thought is the Sybil resistant. Like we probably would need a third party, like maybe EOS support. So if like someone from the Turkish hive or whatever brings on a friend, how do we know that that's indeed a friend? But I think that's actually a good idea.
Yes,
like so you're talking about content creation. It's different from business development. You're
yes.
talking about business development, and perhaps only incentivizing for influencers is not enough. We should incentivize for friends too.
We should, yes.
Figure out a way to reward for that.
Reward
sure.
for bringing people. And I think like you are bringing up this point, we have port, right? So I've been talking to Luca. We can have a system where we can actually,
Is it live? Is port live?
Yeah, it's actually gonna be used for Pomelo. He actually has the civil attack part done, right?
No, I know, but can I use it right now?
Oh yeah, you can use it. Yeah, you can use it.
All right, I'll hit him up.
The last time I spoke to him, it was ready to be used, right? So the only difference was that if you want to verify someone, it's a little bit difficult because somebody has to be on the back end to verify that you, this person, you are indeed the person that owns this passport.
Right.
And that's the part that I'm trying to, he's working on it. That one is going to take 6 months. So if you need that part, then what we could do is this. If somebody want to come on board, now someone has to verify them via phone number or a quick, like let's say video, whatever, quick video interview or whatever, and then you just create a free account for them. And then now the person who brought that that friend or whatever, we send them like a reward incentive for them bringing someone, right? If we do that, it will motivate so many people to actually do work that matters. And what is that work? To get people to come onto EOS and for us to let them know that, okay, EOS, we have these dApps that you can use. We have something called DeFi, and what DeFi means is this, okay? If you have a problem, you can reach back to us and help. And I'm open to, to work with you on whatever that we need to do to make this work. Because if we do it well, because I don't want us to be like siloed, right? I want us to be like connected, because there are so many things that because we are KYC, we can help the bees do what they want to do effectively, that you don't have a lot of headaches.
Yeah, let's talk more offline about this for sure.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to go to Randall because you just had this whole segue, but I feel like I see John squirming over there, just being like, guys, Eden 2.0 is going to change everything. And maybe if you feel like I'm not wrong and you want to weigh in on some of that, John, with respect to the conversation that was just happening, and or give a personal update, go for it.
Yeah, no, I best not comment more on Eden 2.0 other than, it's going to be cool, and it sort of just, makes
It's going to be awesome.
I just heard like you guys talking about like, incentives to bring friends in instead of just, and I was like, oh,
that was, as you two were talking, the thought that was continuously rolling around in my mind was, why are these people coming to EOS? We need something, we need the killer dApp that's like, oh yeah, I want to actually be a part of that and use that thing. Because right now, the only justification I can bring to that is that you want to bring in influencers to entice more investors in, and more speculators, because that's the only people that would be reached right now. And that is a large portion of crypto right now, is people just speculating on what's going to be next. But for like my friends, I'm not going to pull them in right now. They wouldn't want to use it, so they don't have a reason.
So this is a point that I've heard before, and I just disagree, because I think that there are apps out there that are great to use.
What do you use on EOS?
We don't have a bunch, but depending on your use case, you can use apps. But people, they talk like we have no apps. Like that's what I thought when you were talking, Aaron. Like, no, but there's nothing here.
And what do you use regularly? It's just, it's the compelling use case. I see the point. Like there's some DeFi, there's some stuff, but I don't use EOS on a daily basis. I don't use the blockchain. And if there was a reason that I would, that would be awesome. Like, that's what we need.
It depends on your personality type. There's social, there's Violet Garden, there's DeFi. The Everpedia stuff, guys are doing cool things. There's Eden, and there's Pummel. Pummel, you get paid just to walk around. They count your steps. There's not a lot, but there are some.
Has anyone played around with Challenge DAC?
But there are others who have. Challenge DAC is
It's kind of
like
interesting.
we have a worker bee in the English Hive. He's like one of the top challengers, and he's all about it. So I could see for you, Aaron, and your friend group, I can see where you're coming from. Like, there's not super compelling cases, but but for other people,
I have a very good use case for EOS. I use it to pay bills. Okay.
Oh,
I use
Bales.
it to pay bills because I have agents that they actually pay their rent in EOS.
Wait, you
All
saying
right.
bills or
You saying
bales?
bill?
Bills, like bills, bills.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
bills.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like
is bills.
bailing people out of jail.
So I'm actually using it in a way that at the end of the month, I have to pay people with it. Right.
I do the
And
same.
myself, I have to hodl EOS because it's an investment for me. And I believe that someday, if the technology is able to click and Aaron is able to get gray mass together, okay, it's
What are
going
you
to
trying
be.
to say?
If you could just get it together, Aaron.
Also,
Right.
right? So my thing is, we have to look at it from the perspective that when the internet started, a lot of people didn't have hope, they didn't have faith. Those people, they were around the internet, but they didn't make anything out of it. And then Bezos made all the money, and now people are upset that why is it that one person has so much money? Or why is it that eBay has so much money? Well, it's because they believed in it and they provided a little bit of value and they made money, right?
That's
So
the
my take
speculation I was talking about.
yeah, so my take is we can all believe in that because all the people I brought onto EOS, that's what they are here for, that this is a new thing. And this new thing can solve a lot of problems if we get it right. Until then, if you don't know how to code, if you don't know how to provide any sort of a value, just hold on to it and let us ride. At some point, maybe one day, these things that you are holding, one of them might be like Bitcoin, because in the beginning, somebody spent money on a pizza using their Bitcoins. And they spent a lot. Now they wish they can get it back, but it's because nature took care of them. And what am I saying? Nature took care of them. Nature is about survival of the fittest. So not being able to have faith, not being able to actually think through a process, it's all part of the game, right? Because I mean, that's what I think, right?
No,
So
yeah.
It's all
somebody,
speculation, though.
yes.
That's all it is. And honestly, I'm not going to recommend to my friends to speculate on crypto assets.
Why not?
Okay, wait.
Because
Let's
it's
show.
gambling?
No.
Okay.
Let's pause here.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to say something about speculation. I think
Okay, then
it's not
let's
necessarily bad, but if it gets out of control, it could be bad, like all other things. I feel it would be nice to get a few more speculators here so we can give a little bit of breathing room with our token price. I don't want a rampant 90-degree or straight up. I'm not talking about that. But I think we can use just a few, get some breathing room so the developers can build more cool shit.
Yeah, but you remember, it's not only developers. I'm telling you, there are landlords who are holding EOS right now because they
But
believe
it's
in
mostly developers.
it, and they actually accepting it. So imagine if we all accept EOS for the value that we create, EOS become valuable. It's as simple as that to me personally.
But that's okay. Now you're sucking me into the. Let's get back to this. Let's just finish our updates if we can, and then we can talk about whatever. At least we've done something that we.
Sorry, John.
All right, I'll go back to my update. I've been sort of helping out with a white paper for Dan, and just reflecting and thinking of other things for Violet Garden, and then received the donation from Aaron from the Eden money, so putting that to use. One of the expenses, if I can show that. Not really, but there's another computer there, so got a new computer for my employee who was sort of just using his
That's
shitty
LG.
laptop.
LG.
Well, the monitors are at Aces, and so he's very thankful for that. Thank you, Aaron.
Does it still have a like a awkward photo of me on the screen? Is it gone now?
No, no. I'll get him to make a poster. You know, get a
Wait, what
get
is
office
this?
work.
John's employee had a picture of Lovejoy on his background.
Yeah, we caught like an image of his like.
Yeah,
No way.
I did. Yeah. It could be his desktop background.
I don't know why.
It's a handsome shot of Lovejoy, to be fair. Maybe I think it should be the first piece of artwork. It goes up behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should just make it a series of NFTs, just sort of different photos of Lovejoy.
Just Andy Warhol made, just like all sorts of different. Anyway,
Yeah, I forgot to thank Aaron as well. Thank you, Aaron, for the
Yeah.
donation to the beach.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yep, I will probably talk about that.
Yeah, and then the remainder of money will just go to his salary. So yeah, thank you for that. But yeah, just white paper for the thinking and strategy for Violet Garden, and yeah, that's my weekly update.
okay. Wow. Who's burning to talk next? I feel like this is an unruly crowd today. Someone's.
I don't really
dying.
have an update, so I can just say that I don't have, as it relates to Eden funds and spending, I have nothing for this week to add. So quick.
Cool. All right, Randall's got the biggest smile, so Randall goes next.
Yeah. So for us support, we are very thankful for Aaron, what he gave us. The community is doing a lot now. We want to take upon on ourselves to help with the Eden invitations, and if a new person comes onto let's say one of the chats, we want to reach out to them as quickly as possible and try to help them through the process so that they can become Eden members and welcome them. That's one of the things that we've spoken about. The second thing is we are building a gift shop. I think I talked about it recently in one of our calls. So so that we can allow for users to have something to do, right? So when the user comes onto EOS, they can maybe a gift card. We are thinking about mugs and all this. So the gift shop is going to have things that you can buy and send to someone, right? And we are building that. And actually, I have a couple of guys that are testing it for me right now. They're part of the EU support group. So they are testing it to make sure that it makes sense and the design is okay. And we have online course that is almost ready. So we can post let's say things that people can learn about, and receive a certification, like how this is for the users, right? This is not for like the hardcore developers. It's for the end user to learn about EOS and how you create an account and how you stake and how you own stake. And if you are trying to own stake and you cannot do it, how do you do this? Like, even though we have articles and guides, we want to go through it, show it, and things like that. And then we give people like a certification and a little bit of like incentive for going through that, like a little 1 EOS or 2 EOS, whatever that it is. So that's something that we are finishing up. Yeah, so those are the things that really worked on this week. The other things were basically how we can grow, how to grow. We've been talking about it a little bit more because we want to make sure that all the agents are responsible and they are not doing bad things, like trying to scam somebody or not showing up for work, or if you say that you're on standby, then you don't actually be on standby. Like, how do we get rid of these bad I would say like bad attitude to work, right? Because we want to make sure that we are using the funds that we are getting very we are using it very effectively. So we don't want people to just feel like, okay, we're just getting tokens for nothing or something like that. We want people to show up and for them to actually work for the network the best way possible and, you know, be a benefit to the network. So that's something that we've been working on. Yeah.
Sweet. Aaron?
Yeah, as the other three guys have mentioned, I moved some of my balances around and learned some more intricacies of the Eden code base. So 2,500 EOS to all three of their projects. That primarily, I think I left a message for you guys, was just that the sortition budget, the extra amount that's allocated with it, it's often hard to justify. I mean, we've been working hard to try to find ways that we can all work together, and that was kind of the initial thought I had on kind of holding on to some of that, was to create capital for us to be able to execute on that stuff. But with the year coming to an end and the end of the year mark being halfway through our term, essentially, I decided that I was going to take half of what that had accumulated so far and distribute it amongst the three projects. And then I claimed the other half the other day, and I'm using that as the test flow now to make sure I can do all the paperwork to channel it into gray mass. That will probably represent my time and the development of the platform that I ran on with the account creation stuff and the SDKs and the open source code. As for what the budget comes in the next 3 months, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe some of it's going to go to Pomelo. Maybe something is going to pop out on one of our teams or somebody from the Eden community that it could be a really good use for. I, over the past, basically since we've started really talking about this, have had very little time just due to the working groups and my prioritizing that over pretty much everything. Both gray mass and Eden stuff and everything else, just because it sets the roadmap going forward. I'm hoping that people will be able to read these things, you know, within, I don't know, hopefully the next month, and be inspired to be able to take action and actually do things that are for the ecosystem. There's going to be plenty of ideas in there that the research has shown that is valuable, that we don't have anybody to do. Like, there's nobody to take on this work. There's no way that the authors of these papers can do all of this. So through Pomelo, through Eden, through VC funding like Helios, all of the, maybe even directly through the grants program that the ENF will be standing up at some point in the near future. Developers who want to get involved in the ecosystem would be able to look at research like this, be inspired, create a proposal and say, I could do this for this amount of money. Let's go, and seek one of these funding methods to actually make that happen. So maybe part of my future budget will be able to go to stuff like that. We'll find out. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out, and how other non-EOS IO chains also engage with this content. I think I've seen every paper now that is due to be published, and the vast majority of it is EOS.io. There are a couple projects where it's like, okay, EOS is going to come first in this, but this same methodology could be applied to other chains. And that approach makes sense because EOS is the one that's funding the development of it. But I would have to say at least 80%, if not 90% of the projects proposed will immediately just be valuable to all iterations. And that's a powerful thing, that a reason to be excited for this year. I know I am, and I am probably drunk on the Kool-Aid right now, but I hope once all of this is public that everybody else will be able to see the same thing and see that it's another worthwhile experiment that's going on in the ecosystem. So that's where most of my time has been and where I've allocated all of my engineers. So that kind of is full circle as to, yeah, I don't have any updates on account creation right now because I pulled all the developers' attention to work on these papers.
Aaron, do you think they'll be readable for non-developers?
That's the goal. like it was just yesterday I was reading one of them and it had like API endpoint definitions with like request and response parameters, and I was like, we should probably remove this. This is not important to the vast majority of the readers. That can be in like an appendix or something, and we really need to make this more understandable to everyone. Like they need to understand what this is at kind of a high level and why it's important, with examples supporting that opinion of why it is important. So hopefully this process also, and the way that it's presented, all these papers are going to be totally different, which is going to be super interesting. So to your question, there probably will be some areas in some of the papers that you just are like, I don't know what this means. Say that publicly and make sure that the authors of the paper recognize that, so that way we can collect all of this feedback and improve the process moving forward. I don't know if it's going to be me. My stay as a working group member ends in like a month, but whoever's doing future working groups, whoever's sponsoring future working groups can learn from the efforts that have gone on to present research even better and get more people excited about where things are heading. It's exciting. It's going to be a good year. Yeah.
I can't believe you've read all the blue papers, but it makes sense that
I am the bottleneck right now in a lot of situations, both for drafts and review, and there's a lot going on. So at least I don't have to read the translated versions. I don't understand those.
Yeah, Aaron and Chris, many hats. They wear many hats.
Too many hats. We need to hire some people to take some and wear them for us.
So yeah, speaking of hats, I picked up another hat on the 1st, officially joined up with the ENF, and so yeah, Randall's muted clapping. Yeah, so I came on as a communications manager, and interestingly, I've actually been diving into, I haven't actually seen the blue papers yet. I really wish I could get a sneak peek because it would help me. So I'm trying to help. Basically, we're just going to try to push so much content out. And a lot of that's focused on the blue papers right now, like giving a little previews of what's coming out. Aaron. And yeah, I've actually been just blowing up Aaron's Telegram, like, tell me about tell me about APIs, tell me about this.
Yep.
And he's been very kind so far with his brain dumps, which are really useful for me as a reasonably non-technical, mostly non-technical person. A bridge between worlds. So if you can explain it to me, I can explain it to people that have not a clue about blockchain technology. So kind of like the intermediary there. Yeah, so that whole transition, yet another transition in my wacky year. I guess this is technically 2022 now, but it still just feels like all one massive year of changes and just a wacky adventure.
What was that you put on your profile? The squirrels in space or something?
Space monkey.
Yeah, space monkey. Right.
Yeah, that was just more referring to our role here as chief delegates being space monkeys. But I have felt like a space monkey quite a lot this past year. But yeah, other than jumping into the ENF and starting to get oriented there and trying to I mean, it's a very small team right now, so just getting off the ground. I'm really looking forward to, and I see a lot of cool opportunities for, I mean, here we are, all the chief delegates of this probably first and only set of chief delegates, and it's an interesting spread. Between the 6 of us, we could field a lot of different things, and we're connected to so many different projects now that are going on. And I think one of the themes of this call today so far has been how can we all work together and merge efforts, in the wider EOSIO ecosystem. And I feel like now joining up with the ENF and with Chris at Helios and you know, Aaron, you're like in the depths of merging all this like blue paper information, and we've got outreach going on with Jesse and support with Randall, and John's sewing together this community.
Right, and John's close to Clarion.
And he's close to the Clarion team and reviewing the Eden 2.0. I mean, yeah, honestly, I'll have to write an article about this, but I feel like for me, this is more than just like a weekly update right now, but for for me, 2021 was kind of the year that tested so hard my resolve to even be in blockchain at all. I was at the end of my tether so many times, just like wanted to disappear and go work on a farm somewhere.
Me too.
And honestly, just the team of people here and the team of people that are kind of coalescing now. Yeah, I feel like the ship really is turning, and it's not just a bunch of wishful thinking and Kool-Aid drinking and hot air. Like, we actually have this battle tested tech plus a battle tested crew of people that are just digging in, and finally like resources are flowing, and I don't know, it just feels like the stars are kind of lining up for EOS, which, you know, I guess that might be easy for a lot of people to say, but for me, just I can't express enough how close to just like wanting to disappear into the wilderness I've been over the last while. So I'd say, like, as your friendly canary in the coal mine, like, I'm not running for the wilderness, and that's probably a really good sign.
By
You're
the
happy
way,
in your cage.
Lovejoy, I just want to thank you for the donation that you sent the crew. I really appreciate that too as well, and thanks for the work that you've been doing. You know, looking around and, you know, making sure that you are incentivizing the community and making sure that people are providing value for the network is very good, and we really appreciate that, actually.
Yeah, thanks, Randall. I actually in the wee hours of December 31st, I cleared out my Chief Delegate account, and I sent all the remainder out to the 3 projects I've been supporting, as well as I sent a little recognition grant to Chuck McDonald for all the work he's been doing. There's so much stuff he's been doing, and I want to send more. Like, I don't know if Lenny's. I know some of these people are delegates, but I feel like the amount of work like Lenny puts into the updates, for instance, deserves some recognition. And there are countless other people. So yeah, I'll continue to support anybody in the community that's taking action and just trying to get stuff moving, whatever it is, however small it is, because I so appreciate anyone that's still here and just showing up and excited about, you know, Eden, excited about EOS, and like the DAOs on DAOs and DAOs. It's going to get really interesting. 2022 is going to be a very fascinating year for this experiment.
Yeah,
I mean,
Aaron, so try and bring your friends before it's too late, Aaron.
So Lovejoy, you just reminded me of something. You're going around the room here and saying all the where we're all connected, and it just seems like, especially with the new announcements, that we're like becoming more and more like a unique group. And I've been thinking recently, and perhaps I like bringing it up for the first time right now, that even when our term ends as CDs, perhaps it still would make sense for us to stay a team somehow, with our collective kind of brains and connections. What do we think about like something like that?
I think it's happening organically, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't think these
alumni.
connections will ever go away. We all talk besides these meetings as well, and I don't think it's just going to end all of a sudden. So I don't think there's anything official that will come from it. I don't know if that's what you were getting at, but
Yeah, so I would, in regards to like the legal like entity that we've been discussing, yeah, in regards to that.
I'm not opposed. I guess it kind of depends on the bandwidth that everybody has, considering the multiple hats that everybody is wearing.
yeah, that
But
was actually something I was going to bring up as we were talking about this. If you go back to when we all ran on this last election to become chief delegates, none of the stuff we are talking about existed. Eden was like the only on-ramp to funding in the community at that point in time. And it was just this first experiment. And now look at all these other ways we're all connecting with other entities, and the way the ecosystem's grown in like 3 months time. It's insane, like the rate at which things are changing. So just as an aside, I could probably ramble for a while, but I won't.
I'll +1 on that one. Yeah. Rapid.
Yeah, it's more about sharing our core competencies together. Like if there's someone that I know that could, use services from one of the other 5 of us, like as a collective, it could be just a more efficient way to deliver intellectual or financial resources across the community.
I don't know. Where would the funding for it come from?
Well, Yves LaRose had said that he would be interested in funding our group, for example. It could come from anywhere. But yeah, it's always unknown.
like we should start a band and then provide music for the community together. John, Randall, you've both been pretty quiet so far about this question.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we need something in particular to tether us. I think we'll remain tethered socially. We're going to be on Telegram, we're going to be on the Discord chats, so I think we'll have our group like that. I don't think we need to give ourselves a name, super best friends or something like that. So yeah.
My vote.
Yeah, I think Aaron, I agree with you in that this is organically happening. In that, for me, I talk to John every now and then, especially if I have a question about things. And Aaron, you are our best friend. Your support, we are always reaching out to you, right? Because we have so many questions, and I think it's going to be again a little bit more, because if EOS is able to succeed and you start having more people coming on board, there'll be more questions, there will be more problems, and your expertise is going to be needed. For Jesse, we have to work together. There's no other way around it. And my thing is, whatever that I can possibly do to help with the user onboarding, if it means that trying to come up with, if God is good and I'm able to get a budget that is meaningful, trying to incentivize some of your guys who brings people on board, or provide something that's very meaningful for the community, I would definitely 100% support the marketing strategy that you have in place, so that we can market EOS in a very nice, positive, attractive way to the non-blockchain users, because those are the people that we want to reach. And
you can fund a bounty for the strategy of bringing on friends. You can fund that bounty pool if you want.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. And then with Chris, so many hats. We have a VC going with Helios, So who knows? Maybe one day I decide to, work with my group on a project that will need some funding, and hopefully we can throw it out there. And if you guys think that it makes sense and maybe Helios want to help out, so be it. Maybe we will meet on Telos. I don't have any Telos, but you never know.
Well, I was wondering, yeah, what about doing a help desk? Have you considered expanding to other blockchains other than just EOS?
Yes. So far, actually, we had a couple of people, bring up a proposal that why don't we reach out to Bullish, because their help desk is very bad. Why don't you reach out to Adapt Network? So it's on the table, but the thing is, I really want to do what I said we were going to do, which is to provide support for EOS first. But while we are doing that, if there is a team that comes on board and they are a great team, we will try to provide support for them as well. But our goal is to focus on EOS and all the public good projects that's on EOS, because we want to help them succeed by providing some sort of like support. So at least they're not like trying to build, and at the same time trying to provide support, and at the same time trying to do so many different things. We want them to focus on certain things that they can focus on. And then, with Dario being so great, and now we are having other people who actually do support in their real world, we can train and teach these guys how things work so that we can provide support for the public good services on EOS. That's one of the things. So you are right, Chris. If there is a project that eventually wants help desk set up, hopefully we can be able to provide that. But for now, we are just focused on EOS, because I'm holding EOS, so I'm not playing around with this. Yeah.
Just to bring it back to my original question, just to finish that, it sounds like our consensus is that we do not want a legal entity. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, I think we can just do this amongst ourselves and just build together as separate organizations, but best friends.
My desire for a legal entity was to leave it behind for the next people that were elected, not for us six to stay together forever.
Aaron, what?
It was more of to serve as a tool for the chief delegates. And if we're not chief delegates, it's not useful as a tool for us. So if there are no longer going to be chief delegates, then the idea of an entity is not as valuable, especially as our time dwindles. We're at the halfway point at this stage. We're, I think, 2 days from being at the halfway point. Yeah. So, I mean, if we have to see what the next iteration of Eden brings, and if the next iteration looks like it could benefit from some sort of legal entity on top for the top elected people to use as a tool, then maybe we resurface that discussion. But with the future of Eden being unknown, it's awful difficult to plan.
So from my view, regardless of the future of Eden, I believe that we would be able to get funded, us six, independent of any other Eden or anything else. That's just what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think.
I'm sure we could. I just don't know what we want to do. It's like we could for sure set up a legal entity, and we could for sure get funded, but without a clear mission, it's like seems like you're putting the cart before the horse. So I wouldn't want like a tool that is looking for like a hammer looking for a nail, kind of, so much as like, all right, what are we building first? And then I like the idea of a super group. I like the idea of like us just like
super friends.
Yeah. Like I think we'll figure out what. I mean, I also don't think we need to answer this question right now, Jesse. Like it's interesting that you brought it up, and I'm glad you did. And we can meditate on it. Maybe something will present itself.
Yeah. And kind of going back to what you were talking about earlier, Lovejoy, it was like about a year ago, and I think I said this on one of the fireside chats, like I didn't know if Greymass had a place in EOS.io moving forward. There was just not enough money to actually make it viable. Like I can only take like fractional paychecks for so long before I run out of money.
Yeah.
And Greymass runs out of money. But with Eden coming online, that inspired some confidence. Then the ENF and Helios, and now all these other things that are happening with Eden 2.0 and the community leading development. Like I've accumulated so many hats that now I need to retire some of them. And I don't know if Eden is in my future at this point. Like Greymass may end up being like one of the core developers of the chain. You know, based on the research that's coming out of the working groups, we might end up being like the client team for EOS.io and facilitating creation of all of the tools that people need to interact with the chain. I mean, that's what we've been doing. We've been building our resume for the last like 4 years on this technology. So that maybe that's where I'm needed. I'm kind of waiting to see where all of the cards land, to see where like me specifically and Greymass specifically is actually needed. I really don't know yet, but I do know that I have too much on my plate. So something at this point, kind of trailing back to the legal entity discussion, it's like I don't think I could say yes now because something's got to go, and I don't know what that something or some things are yet. I'm gonna stay until the end of our term here, just because that was the commitment that was made. But beyond that, I guess we have to wait and see.
You guys can call me anytime you want. Give you my phone number. If you're ever in Minnesota, Mikasa Sukasa, you know, no problem. I got you.
Yeah.
If you're ever in trouble, you just call with bat signal, whatever. We'll all come to your
B signal.
Right.
The B signal, yeah.
Wonder Twin powers or whatever
Yeah.
twin is for 6 people. I don't know.
We should get like rings that all like connect together.
Like Voltron.
Yeah. Back to Voltron.
Lots of 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s cartoon references happening.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else have anything that they're dying to talk about or that we legitimately just haven't covered? I know I have one thing that we didn't get back to yet, which is I was trying to foment the NFT thing, and then John and I don't know, John mentioned that he had an artist, and then the more I thought about it, I don't know, I'm of two minds on the whole topic, and we haven't made any progress on it. At least I haven't. I don't know if you've done anything, John, or if anyone else has done anything.
Yeah, we've had a community member reach out, and there was a sort of template or something to push, and I failed to forward that on to you. That was my fault.
Was it
find it.
Chuck or someone else? Because I know Chuck.
Doesn't look like it was Chuck. My bad. I'll send it to you guys when I find the Telegram thing. There's so many bloody threads in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looked alright.
You have too much information to track? How could that be?
Telegram's so bad. It's so bad at keeping track of things.
Yeah.
You know what we should be funding with our delegate money is those like minority report screens, so we can just like see like in quasi 3D everything that's going on all the time. Maybe not.
I think if my Telegram was converted into that, it would have to come with like a seizure warning.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you might have to disable it. Like,
yeah,
not. We'll have to like get you special drugs to allow you to like be able to like handle
slow down time.
Yeah, exactly. Like just switching between Telegram and Discord. Cool. Does anyone else have any fun thoughts about NFTs? I still want to do it. I feel like it would be more meaningful if it was a joint effort than if it was just like in one part of me is like, well, we could each just do NFTs and then be like, Lovejoy's NFT gift to the, all the Eden members, and then for like this and that. But I think there's value in having like one coordinated release that is like stamped and approved by the chief delegates and goes out to like everybody for whatever we deem, appropriate.
Yeah,
But-
let's just do us 6, and then we can just get some images and push them out for some events that we come up with, and go from there.
Cool. Yeah, let's have that conversation. I presume you like sent me some sort of communication now. We can keep chatting offline. Oh, and then on that note, at the at the EOS fireside chat the other day, it's all a blur. They were doing the participation rewards of sending out NFTs. I feel like when we get our act together, that should be like another component of the well, one way we could use NFTs to try and like pull people into the Eden Discord and stuff, get a little love going on over there.
Was that just done with a Google form? Because technically we can make it a little bit smarter, and you go to a UI and you just gotta sign in with Anchor, and then whatever account that you sign in with, then you press a button, and then it goes through.
It's like a proof of participation thing. So they're calling it like a pop token or whatever, but they were doing it from right inside Discord, where you were supposed to like and retweet the tweet that went out, and then it was $ your account name in the chat, in the stream chat, and then a bot was like, awesome, like noted, and then I don't know what happens after that, but
Probably a lot of manual processing right now, but I missed out on Wednesday or yesterday, I guess it was. But I did see that in the stream chat that something had happened with the bot, which is awesome to see. But after they collect the information with the bot, it's probably still pretty manual. I don't know exactly, but I have seen there were some prototypes shared in Discord as well of somebody working on Anchor integration in Discord. So
cool.
Pops up with the QR code and the link, and you just click the button and it'll link your wallet to Discord. So you can do cool things there. So I'm excited to see potential of that bot. Instead of having to say your name, it's just like click here and it starts a private message and you log in and it verifies who you are. So arguably maybe it's easier just to type your account name, but we'll see.
Well, some people might not want to share their account name in a Discord chat. I mean,
yeah,
but
it would also be cool, like, because the way that they're doing it is you get like 5 of these things and you can convert it into something. Like there could be a bot interaction that does that conversion for you, or like all these other things you can do with NFTs. You could potentially do through live mediums like a Discord chat.
Oh, for sure.
Like, here's a button. This message has a button on it that you can click to claim the NFT. And this message is going to like self-destruct in 5 minutes. So you got to be there to click the button to claim it. And then it all of a sudden pops up and claims it for you. But there's a lot of cool things that could be done.
That'd be great if just because you were a participant in a live stream event, you like a window, like somebody chatted you up in DM like a bot did, and then you were able to just click and initiate the process that way. That'd be really slick. Yeah, it's still a little clunky, but
yeah, everything is.
Yeah, if you ever get the feeling like this is like we're in the blockchain equivalent of this is the year of the Linux desktop, like it's the year of I swear it's the year of the Linux desktop this year. Like we're going through the same thing with blockchain, like 2017. This is the year the blockchain breaks into mass awareness. 2018. This is the year.
And it has been
Maybe-
in terms of speculation. It's been incredible that way. But in
And
terms of like mass
NFTs,
adoption,
definitely.
yeah, NFTs has brought a lot of new people in. Sadly,
Mhm.
a lot of them are just like with tokens and most people holding tokens on exchanges. I think a lot of people are using custody platforms for NFTs just because it's the underlying technology is great, but it's still a little too hard for most people to use. Sort of like the internet back in the late 90s. Not many people use the internet.
Yeah.
I think I was selling web development like as a personal business back then, and it was really hard. In
You're
I
like,
was
what am I going to
in-
use this for?
yeah, I was outside of Chicago at that point, and people are like, "Why do I need a website? Like, go away."
What kind of scam is this
Yeah.
website?
They're like, "Nobody's gonna use my website for my business. What are you talking about?" Just no, I'm not gonna pay you $5,000 to build this thing.
People don't want to connect their computers to other people's
No.
computers. Like, that's crazy. Like, why would anyone
Yeah.
want to do that?
That's the stage we're in right now. You know, it's gonna take like one major breakthrough of ease of use, which I mean, I think the smartphone may have been that catalyst in the past 10 or 15 years. But it's going to take blockchain, one of those catalyst moments, to get the majority of the world using it. So no idea what that is. We'll see,
Underground
hopefully in
dance
our
parties.
lifetimes. I think so. That's probably it. If you can
Yeah, it's-
coordinate them.
Access to underground dance parties with your NFT. That's it. That's what I want. Honestly, I think augmented reality is still like completely underutilized. Like why? I mean, and again, Challenge Stack comes up again. I haven't really played around with it too much. I have it on my phone, and I tried to use it a while back, and then kind of got distracted and didn't get back to it. But this idea of having your device, which is like everyone carrying around a freaking smartphone these days, and having it be able to connect you to physical places in ways like, oh, there's something over here, or you're in proximity to whatever, you have access to this thing or a special discount, or you can pick up some virtual object in this area. Like, I feel like that's almost kind of low-hanging fruit that's not being made usable for some reason.
Yeah.
But
I think it's still early.
I gotta jet, guys. Sorry.
Cool.
I got another call out on here, but
no,
good
Chris, you can't go. You can't leave. Don't leave, Chris.
chat again.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye. Later. And then there were 5.
Yep.
Now we can talk about the real shit.
No, what you were saying about augmented reality though is like people haven't figured out what it's super useful for even in centralized environments. And that's probably where the technology will be proven first, until the point that it actually requires a blockchain, just because it's still so much easier for one company to be like, this is our augmented reality platform, and they run it all without the complexities of a blockchain.
But like, riddle me, how in the world was Pokemon Go such a success? I mean, I had friends that are just like allergic to devices, that were addicted to Pokemon Go. They were out at 2 a.m. on random street corners with strangers being like, oh, you came here too, you know, like, and
Yeah.
like getting exercise, like cruising around the neighborhood, collecting Pokemons or whatever you do with that. I never played it. But like, I thought it was such a huge success because honestly, it freaked me out because I worked at cafes and stuff, and people would come stand in the doorway like, and I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, this is a spot. And I'm like, what? What's going on? They're like, there's things here. And I was like, go away.
You're like, no,
blocking
there's
the,
not. What
you're
are you
blocking
talking
the
about?
doorway. Yeah. Cuckoo. Like, but it was so, it mobilized people in a way that I'd never seen before. And I'm just like, was it like just a one-off? Because I don't see that anymore anywhere. Granted, we're going through like this crazy pandemonium thing, but yeah, I
It
don't
might
know.
have been a fad. It might have just been a one-off occurrence of a good brand and a good product capturing a lot of hype. And it obviously wasn't, I mean, I think they're still doing fairly well, but it's not nearly as big of a thing as it used to be. Well, and obviously for reasons as you've defined, our lack of travel ability, essentially, and people's not wanting to leave and go wander out into weird places.
No, it's because they
skyrocketing
didn't make
crime
them
rates.
NFTs.
Is that why it's not happening anymore?
That's why,
It's because they
yeah.
weren't NFTs.
I mean, dude, I swear, if there were NFTs in the line, like, you know what people are doing now for NFTs, you imagine? People would go in the most dangerous neighborhoods to collect NFTs. They wouldn't care. They'd get mugged, but you know, they'd get mugged anyway, probably, if they have
as
that
long as
sort
they
of
had their
attitude.
own, like their owner key backed up safe at home, their phone just got stolen and it's fine.
Yeah,
They still got the NFT.
maybe we should create the first NFT mugging game where like the goal is to go out and steal other people's NFTs, and it's just part of the game.
Yeah.
And we can convert all the violent criminals into like people that are just after NFTs instead. And all you have to do is just get in proximity and press a button.
Well, and I think both of these topics, like Pokemon Go, as was described, was a good showcase of augmented reality. And Pokemon Go itself may have been a fad, but it really did advance augmented reality technologies along. And I think that the current iteration of NFTs might be doing the same thing. Like NFTs themselves is going to be one of these technologies, and it is being proven through people buying art, essentially. You know, there's not much functionality that comes with modern day NFTs, but it's still gaining a lot of traction. So this current bubble, I shouldn't call it a bubble, I don't know what it is. This current phase that we're in, I don't want to be insulting, that we're in, you know, it's proving that this technology, that NFTs can actually do a thing, but whether or not this is a fad and will pass, or whether or not this will stick, just kind of remains to be seen. Just like Pokemon Go with augmented reality. But NFTs are going to stay. Like the technology is super sound. You could use them in video games as items. You could use them as tickets. You could use them as licenses, or like basically a transferable, programmable asset that is not a token. It's like we've had tokens on blockchains for so long, and now we have other things on blockchains that represent other forms of data besides money.
Did you say it wasn't a token?
What, an NFT?
Yeah. Oh,
I don't think it is specifically.
Well, it does, isn't that what stands for? Non-fungible token?
Well,
True.
yeah.
What people currently consider NFTs, I guess they see as more than I guess it is a token. If you take token at its like face word, meaning a representation of something.
Yeah, but I know what you mean though. It's not like, well, it's not fungible. So it's a unique object as opposed to like a generic one is the same as everything else kind of thing, which is fairly useful. And also from a tax perspective is completely different too.
Yeah.
It's like it's a collectible. So it's got interesting properties for sure. I promise I'll stop asking random questions about NFTs and augmented reality right after this one more question. So with Anchor Wallet on mobile, is there any way to do location? Like, could I, for instance, like, can Anchor Wallet do push notifications? So like, say I'm next to a place where there's like location data about an NFT on the EOS blockchain. Is there a way that users could opt into a service where it's like they get in a certain area and it's like you get like a notification from Anchor Wallet that's like, you know, NFTs in your area, you know, click to find out more or whatever, you know, I don't know, probably
hot
better
singles in your area. No.
yeah, hot singles, yeah. Underground dance party in your area. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, bring it full circle. I think that would be the responsibility of a different application. I don't think Anchor specifically would do that, but that's entirely possible. That would be, I'm assuming, some kind of game or platform that was specifically designed for that. The hard part with all of this and why it's still really a centralized system for those location-based things is because it's hard to prove that you were somewhere. Like,
Oh,
it
like
some
it's hard to
yeah,
keep people from exploiting it by being like,
yeah,
I'm over here, now I'm over here, now I'm over there, and they're just
they
spoofing their coordinates on their
yeah.
phone or whatever.
And I'm sure things like Pokemon Go, they probably had people that were cheating and just spoofed their location data and moved all over and collected things and never left their house. But now
Hmm.
the minute you're talking about something that's actually a tangible, like an asset, the NFT itself,
Yeah,
people are incentivized to cheat and go do that, and
true.
nobody can take them away from them. Whereas in Pokemon Go, if you were a cheater and you did this and you collected everything in the world, you're probably just going to get banned. Like, you didn't play the game. We're going to, here, go away. Make a new
But
account if you want to keep playing.
if people had to check in at a location, it could work. But if it's just the app trying to like use geo coordinates to verify, then it's kind of exploitable.
And you can cheat all of that. Like, even
Yeah.
checking in at a location, you could theoretically cheat in a lot of these systems. But
But
proof
if it's
of
like,
location, that's what we
right,
need.
yeah, someone
There's no
solve that,
good way to
please.
do it. Yeah, there's a lot of
Well,
really cool applications that could come out of proof of location.
well, I mean, supply chain, like the promise of supply chain and blockchain is that when somebody brings my purple kush from wherever to me, I sign that I received it as like let's say I have a dispensary or something like that.
Mhm.
And people can track, like at every point in the supply chain of that, theoretically it's signed by a specific person that only they can sign for that. And then there's like a paper trail or like a digital
Mhm.
trail of signatures. So it seems like you could use similar kind of approach to ensuring that, like only certain people can sign that you are in a certain location.
Yeah.
Kind of credentialed individuals. I don't know how you
Then
incentivize them.
if you were working at a cafe, everybody would be coming to the counter to bug you to be like, hey, I was here. Prove that I was here, please.
I mean, yeah, if they bought something or whatever,
Right?
it could be like a great deal for cafe owners that are like struggling to get people in the
Yeah.
door, like, yeah,
It
you
could
wouldn't
be.
want just people like coming in being like, hey, but yeah,
There's a
I
lot
don't
of trust issues that need to be solved and a lot of that stuff. I mean, and then the cafe employees could cheat and take a bunch of NFTs themselves, and like that's, yeah. Trying to build
Eden-
these trustless systems.
Eden 2.0, man.
Yeah.
Dan, save
all
us.
this
End all be all.
It's
Yeah.
the
Right.
game theory behind it all. How can you game the system?
Eden 3.0, that's the shit, dude. Wait till
Yeah.
you see that. Wait till you see
That's
that.
what I'm working on. No.
It's a purple paper. Yeah. It's that shit's
Right. We
next
mixed the
level.
red paper with the blue paper and we got the
That's
purple
right.
paper.
Mm-hmm. John hasn't even seen it yet. John, have you seen Eden 3.0? Dude, you need like a secret decoder ring to actually read it. So I can send you one, but
You gotta buy it in this box of cereal.
yeah. But you can
Need
only
the
get
NFT.
Yeah, you need the NFT.
Oh, it's hidden on the BitShares blockchain.
Nice.
My first reaction was nobody will ever find it there. Man, that's such a
Oh,
dick thing to
shit.
say. That's not
Oh.
true.
Burn.
Rude.
I've got my BitShares shirt here somewhere. I should be wearing it so I could feel even more offended, even though I haven't really been on the blockchain in a while. It was true then, it's true now.
Nice.
Revolution will not be centralized.
It's the steps we've taken in the communities, and
I like that tagline. That's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, you can use it, take it and run with it.
We have to get the IP first.
From
What?
me.
From whoever.
From
Stan
well,
Larimer.
really, we're riffing on my name brain just failed me. Gil Scott, right? The revolution will not be televised. And then we just said revolution will not be centralized. Because it's not the revolution if it's not centralized. It's multiple simultaneous revolutions. So you just have to say revolution will not be centralized. That's that.
Yeah. I feel like our last fireside chat and random topic discussion kind of bled over into tonight.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Chuck, if you're watching this, don't bother editing this down. You'll just go mad.
Right. We probably could have left a little disclaimer at maybe half an hour ago that most of the important topics I think are covered, because you had call outs for topics of important discussion and it doesn't seem like any came up. Does anybody, I suppose we should make sure that there's nothing else left. I don't have anything.
I think we can stop recording.
Probably.
And with that,
We can stop recording and pick John's mind about Eden 3.0.
Oh,
Everyone-
everyone else.
everyone
Not
that's
2.0, not 2.0.
everyone that's watching this now, I want you to look underneath your computer. There's a hidden NFT and it'll tell you where to go next. Okay, we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Augmented reality.
That's right.